Hey, this is CJ with ConversantLife.com and Undiscovered. Recently, I had a chance to catch up with Tyrone Wells, who's an amazing singer-songwriter, talented musician. Check out our interview.
So, you were saying that it's really difficult to build a fan base. I think indie artists are trying to figure out, how do I go from point A to point B? I have this drive, I have this passion, I have this talent to write songs. How do I get it from my dorm room, from my acoustic guitar, from a couple of clubs to a couple of college shows, to really playing in venues where people are actually starting to follow me, people I don't know, people are coming to my shows and gaining traction. How do you go from point A to maybe even point A and a half before you go to point B to point C?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of artists just see like the end result and they're like, how do I get there? And they just feel overwhelmed. I think you just have to do the things that you can control. There are a lot of things that you can't necessarily control as an artist. You can't control whether a record company signs you. You can't control whether or not you have a booking agent. Eventually those things will come to you if what you're doing is catching, as you said, traction, like if things are starting to happen. But I think you just have to concentrate hard on what you can, which means, first and foremost, I think it's about songwriting, like writing songs that impact people. If you're writing songs that touch people, they're going to respond and want to support and want to hear you play those songs. So that is, it's so simple, but it's also the part that a lot of people actually miss, because they'll write 8, 10 songs and think, well, now people should follow me, and don't they see the brilliance of this music? And if they're not seeing the brilliance of the music, then probably it's not their problem. It's probably the music isn't brilliant yet. And so you have to work really hard at making music that's great. And and I'm not saying that my music is great. I aspire to be great.
Yeah.
But I think you just have to spend a lot of time working on your craft. That's first and foremost. What I did was, because I didn't like booking shows all the time, I felt like that was such a pain. I just played. I got one little coffee house that let me play there every Thursday night, and so I didn't have to worry about booking something every week. And I just let people come to me if they wanted to hear the music. And from that became a hub where I had other songwriters playing too, so we were mixing it up. But every Thursday night I would play, in the night. And just from that experience, I sold thousands of records out of that coffee shop. I didn't have to sweat the booking because it was already set. And then from that show came other offers. There are people that would come and say, hey, I really like what you're doing, would you come play at this place? Or I have this restaurant, or I have this club, I want you to come play.
So what makes, in your opinion, a good song that stands out among the rest, that maybe potential music buyers and media buyers might say, hey, this would be good for a TV show, this might be good for independent film? What really makes a good song stand out?
It's funny because it's hard because it's different for everybody. For me, a great song is first and foremost a good melody, something that you can sing. I read a book once that talked about giving anything that you write a whistle test. If you write a song and then you can't whistle the melody, then it's probably not a very good melody. And I thought that's really good advice. So great melody, and for me, because I'm a songwriter, I pay a lot of attention to lyrics, and lyrics are really paramount when you're talking about TV and film, because they're looking for certain, lyrical themes in songs that match with what they're filming. So, I've found the stuff that's been licensed mostly for me is the stuff that's a little bit more sparse, actually. More acoustic vocal, maybe some percussion and stuff like that. It seems like that stuff that's a little bit more pared down has been licensed for me quite a bit more than like the full production stuff.
We're seeing with a lot of bands and a lot of artists and a lot of just creative people these days, really this concept of putting their creativity towards a cause and using their platform not just for their own art, but really to push a message. And there's so much in the world that's going on today, and I can think of people like Bono who've gotten behind the One campaign, and besides the music, beyond when you go to sleep at night and when you wake up in the morning, what are you passionate about? What do you want to see change, and how can an artist like you use your platform to do that?
Yeah, one of the things that I have, Invisible Children, I've been behind quite a bit because I saw that DVD and it wrecked me. I was amazed by it. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, but I'm not someone who is setting out to be a Christian artist in terms of like making Christian music, which I talked to a lot of artists about that. But I'm also an artist that hasn't been like, see you at church, I'm going to go just play in, you know, bars, and which I do. I play everything. I play in churches, bars, clubs, colleges. And I just think, you know, as someone who believes, I think it's important to continue to be in the church and having your art be in the church as well.
We appreciate you coming. When's that new album coming out?
The new album is coming out on iTunes December 23rd, or maybe even a week before.
Christmas.
Which, I don't know if you knew this, but iTunes sales quintuple the week after Christmas, which is why they're putting it out right around Christmas time on iTunes, and then it'll be in stores January 27th.
Okay.
And I'm really proud of this record, and so if you want to hear it, even if you don't want to hear it, you should go listen, because I think it's great.
Cool. Thanks so much, man, for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys later on Undiscovered.